In the shallow waters of the Thames Estuary lies a wreck unlike any other. A broken Liberty ship still holding more than 1,400 tons of live WWII bombs. 80 years underwater, and every tide still shakes the explosives sealed inside its twisted cargo holds. Tonight, we descend into a wreck that should not be touched. A ship frozen on the edge of catastrophe. This is SS Richard Montgomery, the most dangerous WWII time capsule left on Earth. SS Richard Montgomery began life in 1943, built under the relentless urgency of wartime America. Constructed as MC Hull 1199 at the St. Johns River Shipbuilding Company in Jacksonville, Florida, she was part of the Liberty Ship program, one of the most ambitious industrial efforts in human history. To American audiences, Liberty ships are a symbol of something bigger than steel. They were the backbone of the Allied supply chain, simple, rugged, and produced at a pace the world had never seen. Some were built in less than 5 days, from keel to launch. Their purpose was clear: move supplies faster than the enemy could sink them. By 1944, Europe was burning through ammunition at an unprecedented rate. The Allies needed bombs, detonators, fuses, everything that could sustain the momentum toward the liberation of France and the march into Germany. MC 1199 was loaded to the limit, more than 7,000 tons of high-explosive munitions. Her route took her toward England, into the Thames Estuary, where cargo ships would be redistributed to smaller ports. This was a busy wartime corridor: fog, tides, radio traffic, and constant pressure to keep ships moving. And that's where things went wrong. On August 20th, 1944, the Richard Montgomery was ordered to anchor in a holding area dangerously close to a shallow sandbank known as Sheerness Middle Sands. With wartime urgency overriding caution, the decision placed the heavily laden Liberty ship in a narrow margin of safety. When the tide shifted, her keel scraped the rising seabed. At first, the crew felt only a vibration, then a sudden, sickening jolt. The massive weight of bombs stored in the forward holds caused the hull to flex, then buckle. The ship broke her back. Water flooded the bow. Crates of bombs shifted. The masts leaned forward at unnatural angles. Salvage crews boarded her the next day and worked frantically, removing what ammunition they could. But tides pounded the damaged hull. Metallic groans echoed through the ship, and the structure began to collapse inward. After 5 days, the operation was deemed too dangerous to continue. What remained, 1,400 tons of live explosives, was left behind, and for 80 years, the wreck has waited. Our descent begins beneath grey skies, where the tide churns brown-green water over the hidden wreck. This is not a clear blue water dive. This is a descent into a working estuary, where strong currents pull at the ROV's tether and silt swirls like underwater dust storms. The first thing we see are the masts, 3 skeletal towers rising above the surface, silent reminders of a ship that refuses to disappear. As the ROV slips beneath the waves, these masts stretch downward, their bases swallowed by murk. Deeper, outlines sharpen, frayed ropes, collapsing ladders, warped railings. The water here carries fine sediment that clings to every surface, giving the wreck a ghostly haze. Then, the ship's torn midsection reveals itself like a wound. MC Hull 1199's fractured spine runs across the seabed. Steel plates curled and bent as though peeled open by giant hands. The ROV's lights flicker as currents push against it, illuminating the jagged edges of the break. Every so often, A piece of rusted metal shifts with the tide, a metallic whine that seems too alive for an 80-year-old wreck. We follow the fractured hull downward. The light fades quickly. Particles drift like snowflakes in slow motion, absorbing the ROV's beams until visibility narrows to a tunnel of pale light. Ahead lies Cargo Hold Number 2, one of the compartments where bombs were stacked in towering columns in 1944. The entrance is a jagged void where the hull has collapsed inward. Every inch forward feels like entering a place that nature, history, and time have all agreed should remain untouched. Inside the hold, the world shrinks to darkness, light, and silence. The floor is blanketed with silt, thick, undisturbed, almost velvety. But beneath this layer of sediment lie remnants of the wartime cargo that defined MC 1199's fate. We begin to see them. First, wooden crates, their planks swollen and soft, held together by rusted nails and time. Some crates sit upright, almost orderly. Others have collapsed, spilling their contents in chaotic piles. As the ROV pans across the debris, the shapes become clearer. GP 500-pound bombs, unmistakable despite 8 decades underwater. Their cylindrical bodies are corroded, but intact. The fins, though twisted, still cling to the tail assemblies. The casing surfaces are rough with rust, but the silhouettes are those of weapons built to shatter concrete, armor, and fortifications. A deeper sweep reveals a larger object, a 1,000-pound general-purpose bomb lodged beneath a fallen beam. The beam rests heavily across the casing, yet the metal beneath has not ruptured. Its nose fuse ring is nearly dissolved, but the explosive filler inside, TNT or amatol, could theoretically remain potent even now. Toward the starboard side, we find a cluster of bombs partially entombed in silt. Their casings have cracked, revealing faint yellowish traces of degrading explosive compounds. They do not detonate. They do not dissolve. They simply exist, caught between chemical breakdown and preserved danger. Higher up, along the bulkhead, we see fragments of cargo nets still clinging to hooks. Some torn canvas wrappings flutter slightly with the movement of water, like shreds of old cloth, unwilling to settle. Moving deeper into the hold, we encounter the ship's internal structure: collapsed stanchions, beams twisted at odd angles, and sections of deck that have folded downward. The damage from the original hull break is evident everywhere, steel stressed beyond its limits, frozen in the moment of failure. A chilling realization sets in. Many bombs remain exactly where the U.S. Army Ordnance Corps placed them in 1944, neatly stacked, perfectly aligned, waiting. British government surveys from the 1960s, 1970s, 1990s, and even recent years all echo the same warning. Any attempt to remove or disturb these munitions risks triggering a chain reaction. One explosion could set off hundreds more. So the wreck lies here, untouched, a silent vault of wartime explosives, preserved by darkness, silt, and caution. The wreck of SS Richard Montgomery MC Hull 1199 is not merely a relic of World War II. It is a symbol of how history can linger in unexpected ways, suspended between danger and memory. Above it, ships pass daily. Weather shifts, tides rise and fall. Yet beneath the surface, the cargo holds remain locked in a fragile equilibrium. A Liberty ship built to serve a world at war now lies frozen at the edge of disaster, her story preserved in rust, sediment, and silence. Some shipwrecks rest peacefully on the sea floor. This one does not. Some echoes of the war still tick beneath the waves.